Outgrowing a career is not always exciting. Sometimes it feels like grieving a life that used to fit. Sometimes outgrowing a life is not exciting. It can feel like a quiet kind of grief. You stand in a room full of things you once wanted. The air is still. Nothing is obviously broken. People look at you and see success. They see the steady climb. They see the finished projects. They see the name on the door. But you feel a space growing inside you, a space between the person you are and the life you're living. The fit is gone. The role you work so hard for no longer fits your heart. It hangs on you like a coat that is too heavy. Grief does not always arrive with a loud crash. It does not always come with a clear and sudden break. Sometimes it comes like a slow, quiet rain. At first, you barely feel it on your skin. There is a particular grief in realizing that success no longer feels like success. From the outside, your life looks full and good. You may have the awards on the shelf. You may receive the praise in meetings. You may have the steady paycheck that provides a sense of security. People tell you how well you have done. They admire your path. Yet their words can sound distant, as if spoken in another room. The praise does not land inside you. It does not warm the cold spot that has begun to grow in your heart. You learn to hold two truths at once. It is a strange and often lonely balancing act. The first truth is that you are by many measures successful. You achieved what you set out to do. The second truth is that you're also deeply restless. You feel a quiet dissatisfaction that has no logical source. This restlessness is not always loud. It can be a passing thought in the shower, a long pause before you answer, "How are you?" A sudden wish to be anywhere else but here. This restlessness is not always a signal to run away. It is a quiet invitation to listen. Your own life calling from a place deep inside, asking what has changed and what you want now, not 10 years ago. This quiet grief is often about mourning a past self. You mourn the version of yourself who once loved this work. That person felt real and solid. That person had plans, ambitions that made sense. That person's voice was clear, confident. You trusted that self. You built your identity around that role, that title, that daily rhythm. The story of that self was your story. Now, that story feels thin. The plot no longer holds you. You have read ahead. This is not how it ends for you. You may also mourn the relationships that fit that old story. Colleagues, clients, mentors. These connections formed a kind of map. Letting go of the work can feel like letting go of the map. It can feel like leaving a community, even if the people remain. The shared path has ended. This mourning is personal and private. It looks like going through old things in a quiet house, packing a desk slowly, one object at a time. Gratitude for what was, a quiet sorrow for what is no more. Tenderness as you say goodbye to a part of your own history, a part that was important and valuable. A career can easily become more than just a job. It can become a core part of who you are. Your title, your daily tasks, your role within a team. These things shape your story. They give you a simple answer to the question, what do you do? Over time, it can start to feel like the answer to, who are you? The label becomes a shorthand for your identity, a name tag you wear in your own heart. When you begin to outgrow the work, a part of that identity can feel lost. The label no longer fits comfortably. You may feel a disconnect when you introduce yourself. The words do not feel true anymore. This can bring up a deep and unsettling question. Who am I without this job? That question can feel heavy, like standing at the edge of a vast, empty space. The known world behind you, the world ahead, undefined. There can be embarrassment and guilt for grieving when everything looks fine. The world measures life by visible accomplishments. The invisible work of change is harder to name and honor. You may feel you don't have permission to mourn, hiding sadness and restlessness behind a mask. and that lack of permission can be one of the hardest parts. When your grief has no obvious cause, it can be confusing for the people who care about you. They see your outer life, the job, the stability, the success. They may not see the quiet change within you. They might say, maybe you just need a vacation, try a new project. They are trying to help, to solve a problem. But your feeling is not a problem to be solved. It is a passage to be navigated. You say, it's not that the job is bad. It's just not me anymore. Your friend might look puzzled. But you've always been so good at it. You can feel more alone, question your own feelings. Maybe I am ungrateful. This is a vulnerable place. Remember, your inner experience is valid. Be gentle with others. They are seeing from a different angle. You do not have to convince them. You can share small words. I am going through a period of change. I might seem distant, but I am okay. I am figuring things out. Seek one person who listens without fixing. A friend, a mentor, a therapist, someone who can hear, I feel like I am leaving a self behind, and not rush to fill the silence. That shared silence is a profound gift. It tells you that you are not alone in the unknown. Letting go is not a single decisive act. It is a slow and quiet process, many small releases. It is not about burning bridges or a grand exit. It is more like the gentle turning of a season, leaves changing, falling when ready. The work is the same. Patience, gentleness, trusting your heart's timing. Start small, one drawer, sword pens, forgotten papers, business cards from lives you no longer live. Decide what to keep, what to release. Make the inner shift visible. A tiny ritual. I'm making space for something new. Each object you let go is a small release. Emotional work too. Allow sadness. Do not fix or rush it. Let it be there. Write one line. I'm changing. Say it aloud. Naming gives voice to truth and honors the transition. Ritualize gratitude. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the security. Thank you for the person I was. Close the lid. Write a letter. Acknowledge fears and dreams. Tell that self it is okay to rest. The writing is the ritual, closure and kindness. As you make space by letting go, room opens for curiosity. Grief can be a doorway. It asks questions you were too busy to hear. What do you love to do now? What gives you a quiet spark of energy? What kind of work feels like a true home for your heart? These questions need no immediate answers. They are not a test. Let them sit like a bowl of fruit. Return when ready. Try small experiments. You do not need your entire future at once, just one step. Meet someone in a different world. Read an unexpected book. These acts are not betrayals. They are gentle tests. Try on new ways of being. Be patient with your pace. Life is messier than a neat arc. Change needs no strict timeline. Some leap, others take small steps. Both are valid. Picture a wide, well-lit room. Place a chair, a small table, a window with a view. You will furnish the room slowly as you discover what you need. The future is open space to be filled with intention. Outgrowing a career rooted in past success is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of life. It is evidence that you are still growing, still changing, still listening to the quiet call of your own soul. People grow. Our work is not always a permanent home. Sometimes a job is a school. Sometimes a safe harbor. Sometimes simply a chapter in a much longer book. It is okay to let a chapter close with respect, gratitude, and a little bit of sadness. Grief without a visible rupture is still grief. It is real. It deserves your care. It deserves your time. It deserves to be marked by small, quiet rituals. It deserves a compassionate witness, even if that witness is only yourself. If you feel that quiet, persistent ache, you are seen. The restlessness you feel is not a flaw. It is a signpost. Pay attention. Be gentle. Walk forward into your own becoming. Have you ever grieved a version of yourself that looked successful from the outside? If so, you are not alone in that quiet passage. Consider choosing one small ritual today. Put one object from your old work life into a box. Write one sentence in a journal. Let the simple act mark this moment. Let the grief breathe. Let your next choice, your next step, come slowly and with kindness. The path will reveal itself.